John Watts has been talking a little bit, a lot, a little bit, a lot. Yeah, we're going to stick with that. A little bit, a lot about Spider-Man. And he was talking to some people at IGN. Yes. And when talking about them, he was talking about, you guessed it, Spider-Man. Now, in this conversation, he was talking about, the things that he likes about the character. Within this conversation, he said a few things that were quite interesting. And the one thing that he said, which is, you see the title of this video, of course, ties to the title of this video. But before we get there, let's read a little bit of the things that he said. So IGN asked, so what does appeal about the character to you? Were you a long Spider-Man fan? He says, yeah, I wasn't like a crazy comic book fan, but absolutely. I mean, I think every kid is a Spider-Man fan at some point. It's a phase you go through because he's just the most relatable of all of the superhero characters. Keep that in mind. Then the question is, well, Peter Parker is a very different character to someone like Tony Stark, Bruce Banner, or Thor. No question mark. Take it back. It's not a question. It's a statement. But John Watts nonetheless does reply with, yeah, and I think that's what will set him apart. I mean, I can't go into any plot details, but he's the ground level superhero. Keep that in mind as well. It's really exciting because we're doing it as a high school movie. And I think it'll be a coming of age movie to see that growth and also be really fun. The conversation then began to change a little bit. And this is what he said he enjoyed specifically about the connection between all of these Marvel films. He says this: the Stark family continuity throughout the movies, seeing Tony's dad in the first Captain America, things like that is what he really likes. Have you thought how to work your Spider-Man into the existing Marvel Cinematic Universe? He says, well, yeah. He's in a world where the Avengers exist, so that already puts lots of possibilities at play. It's all the same universe, so definitely it has to make sense logically. And in terms of him getting this job and being this small director and then jumping to this big, huge project that is Spider-Man, he says, well, working with Marvel and Sony, I feel like there's a lot of support in place. It doesn't feel like I'm alone in a room with the burden of making this movie all on my shoulders. It's a really sort of nurturing and collaborative environment that they've created. So right now it feels good and very positive and very creative. It's fun. I'm having a blast. So we're going to tie everything together in this night, this nice night. I just combined the word nice and neat night. Oh, night, what? In this neat, nice little bow. Let us work backwards a little bit. So with this being a coming of age film, him growing up, that means we're going to see the development of him. Now, how will he develop? Let's look at the interview and try to dig deeper, get our shovels in our minds. The big thing that's going to make Peter Parker different from these other characters, that we're going to see him change throughout each film. Each film that he's in, he's going to change and become an even better person, or at least we're going to see him become a deeper character. You get what I'm saying? With that being said, that can imply a few things. Number one, that Peter Parker, each time we see him, will be older. Kind of, a given, because that's really usually what happens. But I think in terms of the character being aged, we're going to see Peter Parker in more films than just his own Spider-Man film. Hence, the Civil War film coming out next year. That's going to be our first time seeing him before his film comes out. Within each film that we see him, he will be older. He will be growing. He will be becoming an even more prominent character. And I think they're going to be setting him up to become the face of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We're going to continue by connecting this with the Stark family continuity comment. He says that the Stark family continuity throughout the movie, seeing Tony's dad in the first Captain America and things like that, is one of the things that he really likes about the connection between these Marvel films. Tony Stark, his family. What can this imply for the Spider-Man film? There are already rumors being thrown around that Tony Stark will become a father figure to Peter Parker, and I 100% am a fan of this theory. I think that Tony Stark being a father figure to Peter Parker would be really cool. Seeing him kind of take Peter under his wing and kind of, help him financially, kind of help him produce his web shooters, perhaps. Kind of help him produce his suit or something like that. Kind of take him under his shoulder as this son, almost, because we've seen Tony Stark. We've seen him for so long, and he's this figure that is the face of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And it'll be kind of like, in a way, him passing the torch. Like, you know what, kid? I like you. I like it. Here you go. You know, this is what you can do. Guiding him. And also Peter Parker teaching Tony. You know, making Tony not be this, you know, arrogant asshole that everyone hates, including Venom 2 million. So, you know, I really feel as if Tony Stark being a father figure is something that could be really good. In terms of the Stark family thing, perhaps they could connect Tony Stark's family to Peter Parker. How so? Let's continue. Dig a little deeper. Peter Parker's family in the comics, his parents, were S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. Perhaps they could have a tie or a nod to Peter Parker's family being S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. By saying perhaps, I mean they most likely will have Peter Parker's family, his parents, be S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. Now, with them being S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, that could possibly mean that within one point, Peter's dad or mother did come into contact with Tony Stark's father. They perhaps were friends, something of that nature. There could be a little bit of a connection between Tony Stark's family and Peter Parker's family, which also could bring these two together. Not just Tony Stark seeing this young kid, this brilliant kid, and going, you know what, kid, you remind me of me. But also, you know what, kid, we're connected. This was supposed to happen, which could really bring their relationship to life, which could really, you know, allow us to see that, you know, Tony Stark isn't just this arrogant asshole with this stupid ass freaking mustache thing in which it's cut. Why is it cut? Just let it. He actually is a person that we can connect with. And Peter Parker is actually this kid who is us. Peter Parker can be the personified representation of the actual audience, which is great. And the potential of this is, wow, amazing. They can take this in so many different ways. Peter Parker learning about characters as we learn about characters. Peter Parker going through situations as we go through situations. Things in which we connect with the character. Final thing is, he really talks about this being a high school movie, and I think that could be extremely good. Us seeing Peter Parker go through high school, him not having this guidance from within his uncle dying, then him looking to older people, like authoritative figures, looking for authoritative figures in his life, authoritative figures coming and going. Perhaps Eddie Brock being a potential authority figure, Tony Stark being an authority figure, Captain America being an authority figure, things like that. The potential is there, and I'm going to make videos about all of these potential or possible authority figures and how they can connect to Peter Parker. Just stay tuned to Venom 2 Million channel. So what do you guys think about all this? What do you think of Tony Stark being an authoritative figure to Peter Parker? Let's have a conversation in the comment section below. As always, thank you guys for watching. I'm Vince Me, and saying my social networks are appearing below me right now because I edited them in. Yes, I did. And I hope you subscribe. I hope you share the video around with all of your friends. Hit the like button. Peace. Marvel held a special 15-minute screening the other night for a theater staff. Let's read that one more again, shall we?
Venom 2 million.